Hey everyone, it's me, Shelby. Today I want to talk to you all about sex. I dedicate this video to my little brothers and sisters because they're in that middle school, high school age where they're starting to hear words like blowjob and sex and penis and 69 and squirt, and they're like, oh, what is that? And they might be a little bit too embarrassed to ask, or the people that they are asking might not know themselves or might not be the most reliable source, like older brothers, or maybe they're looking at porn or looking for it in the movies or something. Some of these, like I said, aren't the most reliable source. Porn and movies are entertainment, and they don't tell the whole story. They're not real life. And your older brothers and sisters might not know the answer, or they might be getting their information from entertainment as well. And I know some people ask their parents, and their parents are like, shh, 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 don't talk about that. No, you're too young. Don't talk about that. That's bad. And that's kind of bad to say that that's bad. So this video is for my youngins that are looking for this information, that aren't finding this information. Maybe they're not getting it from their school, maybe they're not getting it from their parents or family, and they need it. So I'm here for you. If you have any questions, reach out to me. But this is my general sex talk for you guys. I love you guys. So for all of those kids who aren't getting the sex talk, or for the kids whose parents are like, sex is bad, shh, don't talk about that, or sex is dirty, sex is naughty, or the parents who look away, you're getting to that age where you're watching sex scenes, you're allowed to watch PG-13, they have sex scenes, right? And all their parents are like looking away, like, oh, this is awkward. And the thing is they're doing this or saying it's bad or acting weird because they don't want you guys to be getting the wrong idea. They don't want you guys to be having sex. They want you to be kids. And some of them are saying the wrong things, like sex is bad, or don't have sex, God is watching you. And they don't realize that this is traumatizing. Like it might follow you your whole life. And some people say sex is dirty. And I don't want you to think you're dirty if you have sex, or you're a bad person if you have sex. This is like, they're just saying that again because they don't want you to make a mistake or get stuck with a shitty consequence. Sex is for mature people because it has mature consequences. And it can be great, and it can be awesome, and it can be very pleasurable, and a lot of people enjoy it and have a lot of fun with it. But again, it can be misused and abused, and oftentimes it's used and abused by kids. And so this is why we kind of encourage you to stay away from it while you're young. So let's talk about these major or mature consequences. Babies are made from sex. So if you are not protecting yourself, having birth or have any kind of birth control, condoms, maybe the pill, I'll talk about birth control a little bit later, but we don't want kids having kids. We want kids being kids. We want kids dreaming. We want kids skinning their knees and having fun with their friends. Not worried about being pregnant. Not worried about having to raise a child, So that's a big consequence. If you think you're mature enough to have sex, then you need to do your research on how to protect yourself from having children. Another thing that you need to protect yourself from, and a very big consequence, is sexually transmitted diseases and infections. They're very real. They're more common than you think they are. HPV is known as the common cold of all sexually transmitted infections. Most people will get it. Most people have had it or have it. And a lot of people don't know it. See, this is one of the STIs that you need to be protecting yourself from. And if you are not mature enough to be getting condoms or asking somebody to get them for you, again, maybe you're not mature enough for sex. But this is something that you should think about. Your health is very important. And when you're having sex, you are, what is the word? Making yourself available to STDs and STIs. Look into protection. Condoms aren't always the best protection. If you're having oral sex and not using condom because you don't think you're going to get pregnant, you can still contract an STD or an STI. And you should be getting tested. If you are going to be somebody having sex with one or more partners, you should be getting tested. You should be going to the doctor, gyno, or a place like Planned Parenthood, a clinic. They have days where it's free. Look into that. If you're, again, thinking you're mature enough to be sexually active, you should be mature enough to look into all these things. Again, another mature consequences are emotions, feelings, infatuation. A lot of people think sex is love, and that's not true. I like to kind of use the metaphor as a hug. You can hug anyone. Your parents make you hug your aunt that you hardly remember, and you're like, ew, a hug. But there's no love in there. Same with sex. There are people out there having sex just to explore themselves, just to explore you, just to have fun. And these are some of the people that abuse it. And sometimes it's learning. It's not abuse, but there's no love in it. And to mistake sex for love sometimes and oftentimes gets people hurt. Also like hugs. If you really love somebody and you give someone a hug, it's like you put all your love into it. It feels good. It's great. Same with sex. If you really love somebody, you can use sex to show it. And you can put a lot of love into there. But again, it doesn't necessarily, it's not love. Sex isn't love. Again, some people get this confused, and there's feelings that get involved and emotions that come up, and some people get hurt. And this is one thing that we are not wanting our kids to go through. We want our kids to be kids. We don't want them to be brokenhearted or head over heels infatuated with somebody. We want them to be dreaming and focusing on their own growth. Sex is a huge distraction. We don't want you to be distracted. We want you to be focused on being a kid, focused on school, focused on who you want to be when you grow up. Another thing we need to talk about with sex is the legal aspect of sex. You're a minor if you're under 18. Minors should not be having sex with adults, anyone over 18. Adults should not be having sex with minors. That's illegal. You know this. It's considered as statutory rape. And some people in some states have laws where it's okay if the parents give consent, but I'm going to keep my lips closed on that. Actually, I'm not. I don't think it's acceptable. I think it's kind of gross. But that's my own opinion. Adults should not be preying on children. And I know sometimes children think, oh, I'm cool, or I'm learning from an older kid or an adult or something, but take your time. You can wait till you're 18 if you want to do that, or, just don't. I've been there. Don't do that, please. Another thing is consent. If you're going to be exploring other people's bodies, you need consent. Please be giving and getting consent. It's okay to say no. And there are people out there that aren't ready for sex, and if you're not ready for sex, that's okay. But make sure you're getting consent. And I know a lot of people think, oh, that's tough, that's hard, that's a vibe killer or whatever. No, it's not. You can make it sexy. But if you think you're too cool for that, you might be too immature for sex. Own your body, own your space as well. If you say no, mean it. Don't allow it after the third try. Actually, stop it. Get away from somebody who doesn't respect your boundaries. Love yourself, respect yourself, know your worth. You are precious. And just the same, if you want to be having sex, you are still precious as the day you were born. Don't let anyone think that if you are sexually active, you are dirty or you are bad. You might be a little more mature. You might be a little more advanced. I just ask you to be safe. Use protection. Be aware of the consequences. Get tested. And if you need someone to talk to, I'm here. You know, a lot of people around this age, middle school, high school, college, this is when we're talking about sex. This is when we're hearing about it. We're exploring it. We might be having it. And there's this idea that virgins are good, and if you're not a virgin, you're bad. Virgins are pure and precious. And if you're not, you are condemned. No one's going to want you. You're like a licked cracker or chewed gum. I've heard these before. And it's so not true. But the thing is they focus this more on girls. They're more about girls' virginity, but we could care less about boys' virginity. And I just want to say boys are just as precious as girls. And their virginity is just as precious, for lack of a better word. And we should balance that out. We shouldn't think that, you know, if a girl has sex, she's a slut, and if a boy has sex, he's just a boy. You know, we should balance that out as well. You know, girls should be able to have sex. Boys should be able to be virgins if they want, you know? And we shouldn't slut shame. We're all exploring. We're all mammals and mini mammals. Most mammals have sex. Some don't, and that's okay too. And I don't know why sex is so taboo. We should talk about it because almost everyone does it. But again, I say almost because there are people who choose not to, and that's okay. Take your time. Like I said, own your body. You know, about the time I got to college, I realized that my high school was a lot quicker sexually than other high schools. I met a whole bunch of virgins in college. Take your time. You know, there are people around you that might be having sex. And if you want to have sex and you want to explore that and you think you're ready for that, it is okay. Be smart. Do your research. Use protection. Look into birth control. Get consent. You know, make sure that you are okay with getting naked and being, in a sense, raw and vulnerable with somebody. Not raw and not using protection raw, but like just there for somebody to just stare at, because that's big. And if you aren't even comfortable at looking at yourself, maybe you're not ready for sex. Maybe you need to spend time with yourself. And I know some people think, oh, masturbation's bad. I don't think so. That's for you to decide. I think it's important to know yourself. Know how to play your own instrument before you're going to play in a band. But again, that might be a little bit more mature, and it's okay. And that's what I'm saying, is it's all okay. Take your time, love yourself, respect others. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. You know, I have lots more videos to come. I have a birth control video. I have a protection video. You know, we'll talk about condoms and dental dams. If you don't know what that is, look into it. You know, yeah, stay tuned. I have lots more love to give, lots more videos to come. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow. Peace.